Akademiks can't ride no wave.
Chat, let me let's kind of like retouch on this whole Vlad TV Boosie thing. Just like I expected, Vlad does a interview. And by the way, let me just preface this off top with a few things, right? Let me go to DJ Vlad. Okay. I want to give some realistic perspective of what people are now understanding. People really underestimate how powerful a platform is. One of the reasons I had to develop two things at once. I took the Jay-Z method. I've always said it. I wanted to be Michael Jordan, and I wanted to be, the Steinbrenners. Steinbrenners were the guys who owned the Yankees, and I wanted to be the best player, right? I wanted to play for the team I owned. I wanted to, Jay-Z couldn't get signed. He got the label, and he was the best rapper. That was always my motto. So I always built myself as a personality, and also I try to build my platform. But while people have respected, definitely, I think both for me, some people actually really neglect to understand what someone's platform is. I'm gonna just show you something in totality. A lot of these people that come on these platforms, they instantly think they're bigger than the platform, right? Because, especially with a platform like Vlad, it's an interview-based platform. Usually when they come on my platform, they don't act like that. You know why? Because I don't usually do shit saying, oh, I'm doing stuff with this person. You come for acting. If there's somebody else there, what do you do? But in a lot of these other platforms, people, even though those people help build the platforms, they forget that what you're really doing is you're building a platform. And I said it before, and a lot of people didn't really either understand me or whatever. I said it was too late for Boosie. You can't ask for more shit once you've given away all your leverage. The fact that Boosie done did 50 interviews on Vlad, his leverage is here. Especially now the platform has now access to other people that maybe doesn't get Boosie numbers, but he could interview two other people that he don't pay a dime that gets Boosie numbers. That's the problem. With things like that, when you're building someone's platform, I'm giving everybody free business advice here. When you're building someone's platform, always remember the worth of the platform, and at some point you're going to build it that they don't need you. We helped build Spotify for podcasts. We helped build Complex. Complex later got sold for hundreds of millions of dollars. You got to value your worth initially while you're building more than what you think you are going to be worth once it's already built. It's the same thing I said about Drake with streaming. Drake leverage with Apple Music and Spotify was when it just started. Now they look at it, they say, well, Bad Bunny is two of you, Drake. Taylor Swift is getting more streams than you, dog. Yo, The Weeknd, he ain't getting as much streams than you, but he's right there. They give you all the reasons why you're not as valuable anymore. So the problem here is with people who they're a talent, but they don't understand how networks and platforms work. You got to understand if you're building something, you need to negotiate up front. Okay? If someone brings you on their channel and their channel got 50 viewers or no one's fucking with them, and you're going to change the whole trajectory of their channel by extending your brand, extending your likeness, doing what Jay-Z does, except he charges an arm and a leg to do it when he says, I'm going to bring my cultural currency. And that's what Boosie did. And in some of the things where, I'm glad Vlad actually spoke about this stuff now. So when I was saying, whatever about $5,000, people were like, damn, Mac, why you not? I knew Boosie was getting $25,000. Okay? Now, here's the thing. I'm not the person that says Boosie don't deserve it. Here's my thing. I think what Boosie should have done from a long time ago is realizing that you the only nigga that's really getting shit popping on Vlad TV. And your nature, your business with Vlad TV was supposed to be different. Boosie didn't do that. Boosie took a check, and that check was lucrative. Getting paid $25,000 to sit down for 2 hours, I think that's okay. But here's the problem. Boosie's now in a place where he's arguing and he's debating against himself. Unless he becomes a caricature of himself, his views are never going to be what it used to be. I keep telling y'all, Vlad does a formula that your biggest views are usually going to be your first. Go look, like, think about this. I'm going to give you an example, right? Akademiks Breakfast Club. I've been on the Breakfast Club one time. 2 million views. Okay? 2 million views. If I went to the Breakfast Club every 6 months, the views would get lower and lower. This is the first time. This was a dream for not only my audience. People never thought of this, see me on the Breakfast Club. This is how it works in content. Boosie, when you go to Vlad, the first thing he has you do the first time, you give up your whole life story. You give him a whole fucking autobiography. So now, for the history of time, no matter what you do later on, they could refer to your history and your biography on Vlad. Afterwards, he'll touch into a few other things, but then he gets into basically saying, hey, listen, you're now a commentator on my network about these topics, these trending topics. Now, granted, Vlad does add to it. We're going to get to it. Vlad does an amazing job of adding to the conversation. But what ends up happening is that unless you're the person like Charleston White, where you're very provocative, you're a wild card, this and third, after a while, unless you're directly connected to some of these situations, and obviously Boosie's a little bit different because anytime snitching comes up, we want to hear from him. People are going to want to hear from more interesting or other figures. That's just how it works. So here's my thing. This really applies to Boosie more than anybody else that goes on Vlad TV's platform, because now when Vlad is rocking with you, most likely Vlad don't need you. Vlad is already popping. But for the early adopters, like for example, no disrespect to him, Star was one of those people that I felt like helped kept the lights on at Vlad. Charlemagne, definitely Boosie. What they were doing, okay, I think if they wanted to be fully compensated, they had to realize that their worth was not necessarily in the views that came in. It was the value of being culture that you were adding the cosign. Okay? Now, what is that worth? I would say that's not a monetary amount. That's when you start talking equity. For example, if y'all are all going to go to Tidal's not a well-established music DSP. And if they want to build it off y'all backs, yes, they should give you some millions. But what's probably proper to do is that if it's built off y'all backs, y'all get a little bit of the equity. Now, this is why I say that when y'all are talking this Boosie stuff, I'm like, I think Vlad is being a real nigga by just giving Boosie what he's getting. Boosie done lost his leverage a long time ago. Boosie's in 2025 or 2026 now talking about, I'm about to build my platform. Way too late. Way too late. So that's where my perspective comes on this, right? For all the people that become on the interview circuit, I'm giving y'all the game now. If you show up to a Say Cheese, they're already built. You show up to a No Jumper, they're already built. Vlad, the last 2 years, he's kicked up like a motherfucker. You only have a say with somebody who ain't really there. So anyway, let's get to it. Vlad is paying him $25,000 an episode. Boosie, and I personally, I haven't spoke to Boosie, so I'm making some assumptions. I think Boosie's doing a little pocket watching. Why do I say that? I think Boosie isn't looking at Vlad TV and his contribution. He's thinking about what value he brought Vlad TV to, that they could capitalize on all these other things that may not even involve him. It's classic pocket watching. Hey, Vlad, yo, listen, when I was the only celebrity coming on here, I was giving you 6 million views. That's when Vlad was getting like 10, 15 million. As a channel, Vlad gets 30 to 40 now. Why? He has Tony Ayo there. He has D.L. Hughley there. He has that guy there. He has that guy there. Acu come here. He has a bunch of more people within his network to use. And I'm saying use not in a bad way. So I think Boosie is looking at it like, damn, I helped turn up Vlad TV. He did. But as I always say in business, and I hate when I see black men have to talk about white men and not getting what they feel they're worth. I'm anti that because I think I'm a really shrewd motherfucker, and I know the only rule that matters in business, you get what you negotiate, not what you're worth. That's it. Flat up. So you ain't never seen me say, well, this guy won't pay me this. None of that. You get what you negotiate, not what you're worth, motherfucker. So if you pop in and you say, oh, well, hey, you know what? I don't want to do interviews as much with you. I'll do one a year, not one a month. This is when Vlad, it's not popular to go on Vlad. They calling him the police. They calling him that. Well, here's the thing. Vlad TV might not grow at the same rate. Now, I think a negotiation, if Boosie knew his worth then, could have been made. But I'm going to be honest with you, this is a problem with a lot of black folks. And I'm not saying necessarily Boosie. Black folks just thinking money. And what I mean by just thinking money is that compensation is just a cash deposit back end. Well, here's the thing. When you want to get dealt with like that, good faith and loyalty are not just cash receipts. Those things come with things called equity. Those things come with other type of leverage positions with the business partner, not just cash. So these days when he says, and imagine, listen, I'm going to just throw some numbers out there. When he used to interview with Vlad might be making, let's say Vlad made $85,000 a month. Boosie was probably responsible for him making that $35,000. Boosie was a big player. I remember looking at it. It would be like niggas doing 12,000 views, 12,000. You look at Boosie shit, 500,000. So there was a time that maybe Vlad's revenue for the month, Boosie was about like 45% of it. Okay? And I could see Boosie looking at shit and saying, he used to be making 85 grand. Vlad nowadays probably making $500,000. Straight up. $500,000. When you see you used to be the workhorse, making him almost half of his revenue at 85, now he's pulling $500,000, you think you deserve a raise. Here's the thing. A nigga like Vlad, he's gonna take you at what you said. You just want straight cash. Nah, nigga. Whoa. This 500 ain't got nothing to do with you, buddy. This 500 ain't got nothing to do with you, buddy. That's how it go. So when you ask for a raise, he's not gonna look at it. Boosie's asking for a raise thinking, yo, the company doing better. I helped build the company. I deserve a raise. Vlad is looking at it like, nigga, you're asking for a raise and your numbers is down. Woo. Woo. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's how it goes. Boosie's thinking, oh, it's raise time. The company doing better. I'm the star player. Yo, the salary cap got to go up, right? Nah, nigga. Nah, it don't work like that. Let's pull up your numbers on how you did. Last year, last interview, you did $6 million. This time you did 4.5. I should pay you less, not more. Holy. Holy. So Boosie is in disbelief. He's looking around. Vlad is going on interviews. Yeah, I just paid 6.9 a bag. Biggest amount I've ever paid a nigga. Boosie's looking like, I remember the times you couldn't get a 6.9. I remember the time rap niggas didn't want to go on your podcast. What the fuck? Okay, if you're saying you're paying way more than you're paying me, you know what? Just give me a raise. Let me feel good. Let me feel valued. You could clearly, if Boosie said he was cool with, he said, I ain't do the interview for 5,000 more. You could tell Boosie just wanted to feel valued. You're getting 25. If the 5,000 is that much, he wanted to feel valued. He see the company growing. He see other people getting more, and he says, I want to feel valued. And when Vlad did the numbers, tuk, 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 and came back and said, nah, partner. Low-key, I should drop your pay. Worst I could do is do the same thing. It broke Boosie's heart. Straight up, broke his heart. You know why? Boosie, remember every time he was on Vlad TV and he said something about a rapper in hip-hop, oh, that nigga's a snitch. And he went all out. Those interviews went viral. Vlad TV plastered over the place. And when he had to run into niggas at the airport, niggas had to check him. Why you working with that man? And he had to stand in the paint. And for him, he thought that, yo, I'm loyal to the soil, but I know I'm going to get this shit back. No, you ain't. No, you ain't. At some point, it's business. At some point, it's business. I think Boosie didn't realize what he was getting paid for a while. That was the loyalty. Vlad breaks down the numbers. Vlad says, and it's probably a little bit more because he has to pay like production people. He said, on every Boosie interview recently, I make $35,000. I pay Boosie $30,000. No, I pay him $25,000. I take 10. Let me tell y'all straight and simple, nigga. If you think that Vlad, you want to do the math? Y'all want to do the math on that? That's paying like almost 80%. Might even be more. Let me do the math real quick. How much is 25,000 out of 35? 25 divided by 35. That's 71%. If you think Vlad is paying 71% of the earnings of his interviews to the guest, you're out of your fucking mind. That's what Boosie didn't get. Nigga, he would have been dropped your pay. He kept it there out of loyalty already. Vlad is a white dude. He's straight with business with y'all niggas. Straight up. It don't matter if you fed him soul food, whatever. Now, there's nothing wrong with him. He's not doing things wrong. It's just that sometimes, one thing I know with us black folks, we love doing the handshake, you my man's situation, which usually means let's ignore the calculations, let's ignore business, you my man's, right? You gonna hold me down? You know what hold me down is? Make me feel good. Even though numbers-wise, it don't make no fucking sense. But I've been loyal to you, so, you know. And by the way, I ain't gonna lie to you. If I was Vlad, I would have gave him that 5 bands. Nah, take that 30. I would have operated at a loss for Boosie because a lot of times how Negroes do business, we know you need that nigga to be loyal to the soil. It is what it is. So we get Vlad, and by the way, I also went on that spiel to say this, because I said people devalue and underestimate platforms. Boosie brought this online. Yo, I couldn't, it's $5,000. Okay? He brought it on Instagram Live. DJ Vlad took to his platform and he dropped a 20-minute video that did 541,000 views in a day. You want to hear the kicker? Vlad done fucked around and made $10,000 responding to Boosie while Boosie cried on Instagram for free. The 5,000 that Boosie wanted, Vlad just got off responding. Boosie got nothing. Once again, not understanding where the business is at. You got to know. Vlad didn't go on Instagram Live. Y'all got to play. If y'all going to be in this game, y'all got to play it right. Listen, I talked to Vlad, so I knew all this stuff but behind the scenes before. I didn't think the details were going to get out there, but you know what? You know what Vlad is smart at doing? Vlad said, well, if that nigga going to talk about it for free, yeah, I would have kept it off of this shit, but if he going to talk about it for free, let me go make 10 bands off of this. 10 bands. Easy. Easy. Wow. Now, I want to click into a little bit of
Welcome to
Vlad's
an
response. Here we go.
Numbers, and I'm like, bro, and I'm like, fam, I
Pay me, sir. I think I'm gonna make more money doing it this way.
he said that he had asked for $5,000 more, and I said no, which is why he's not going to do the interview.
I wanted $5,000 more than he wanted to pay me. He didn't want to pay me, so I think I'm gonna make more money doing it this way. And I'm editing my interview now.
Now, that's not exactly accurate. So, I wasn't going to put any of this out there, but because he started putting out numbers out there and people started going, oh, Vlad being cheap, why is it only 5,000? You could pay him that, not knowing the whole picture. So I'm going to lay out the whole picture for everyone just to explain what exactly is going on. So when I called Boosie, like I said, the fee had always been $25,000.
Now, this is another thing that was interesting. Vlad checkmated the shit out of Boosie. I know they got no beef. But Boosie, I think, I love Boosie, but he caught all type of L's. I'm going to tell you why. Boosie brings it online, mentions it in a medium that he makes zero money. Mentions it in a medium, receives zero money. Vlad talks about it on his platform, makes $10,000. Boosie loses the PR battle because he frames it as saying, man, it was over $5,000. That's why we don't fuck with each other. Vlad hits a slam dunk by showing the audience, yeah, okay, 5,000, but I'm already paying him 25. Everybody's on Vlad's side. Boosie gonna be back on Vlad 60 days. Trust me. 60 days, nigga. Trust me. I ain't even gonna lie to you.
He said, I want 40,000.
Yo, Boosie a hustler, but let me tell you this. This boy right here?
One, just to explain what exactly is going on. So when I called Boosie, like I said, the fee had always been $25,000. He said, I want 40,000. And I'm like, fam, I can't do 40,000. That's just putting me in the hole in a situation like this. He's like, well, I'll go as low as 35. And I'm like, man, listen, I might be able to do 30 after I run the numbers, but 35 is definitely out of the question. But let me go ahead and run my numbers and actually see what's going on. So I went back and I looked through the last, 5 or 6 interviews, and I looked, and the profit margin on each of these interviews was around $10,000. So I showed him the numbers. I sent him a spreadsheet showing him my back-end numbers, and I'm like, bro, the most I could do is 25. You're asking for 35. Your traffic has been dipping over the years. You've gone from about...
Boosie, it's called a performance review. Now, here's the thing. This is kind of what Vlad done told Marlon Wayans. Hey, Marlon, you want what? All right, the last 5 interviews I seen you do, you ain't doing much numbers, nigga. You ain't worth more than $5,000. What's popping? Marlon Wayans got mad.
6 million to about 5.5 to about 5 and some change. So you're looking at about maybe a 10-15% decrease in views, which means a 10 to 15% decrease in revenue, as you know, but you're asking for a 40% increase in appearance fee. A 40% increase. It doesn't make any business sense, because what'll end up happening is, look, Boosie's already at home, right? He wakes up, he does the interview. There's no cost associated with him, and he was getting paid $25,000. I have to fly because I don't have a studio or a camera crew in Georgia, in Atlanta, so I have to hire a camera crew in Atlanta. I have to fly from LA to Atlanta. I have to get a hotel. I have to have all the costs associated with it. And then afterwards, I have to pay to get the video edited and pay my crew and everything else like that. And as you know, with YouTube, I'm taking all the risk because sometimes videos get demonetized, right? especially when you talk about someone like a Boosie, who
Now, are y'all understanding or hearing what I'm saying? So the way I was trying to put it across, if it wasn't abundantly clear, whatever Vlad is saying, is valid. And I hear some people saying, well, you know what I mean, it does make sense. Boosie's worth maybe at this point is like just a dollars and cents thing. When Boosie was the glue to why Vlad TV was ever being visited by quote unquote the culture, his worth is significantly more than what is being said is the return on what he just did. Making someplace the hot spot for guests to go is worth more than the views that actually gets. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like, let's think about like influencers. Like, let's say, I don't know, who made Chrome Hearts poppin'? Making Chrome Hearts the cool thing that everybody wants to wear is worth more than maybe, oh, okay, I have an affiliate code. No, when that nigga wears Chrome Hearts and everybody sees him, everybody want to be like that nigga. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, Vlad TV is already built. That's why I said he's too late. Because at this point, Vlad don't need to give you the extra something and maybe say, oh, fuck the numbers because you bring so much value. Now he's going to be like, nigga, I'm going to keep it a bean with you. I'm like dollars and cents with everybody now. I got a lot of options.
has, he swears, he's talking about a lot of edgy stuff. And at the end of the day, I'm taking 100% of the risk. So I'm like, listen, I cannot pay you $35,000 when I'm going to make nothing. Or maybe I'm even going to take a loss. And Boosie is like, yo, you're being cheap. And I said, I'm not being cheap. I'm being put in a situation where you make all the money and I make none of the money. It simply doesn't make any business sense.
Well, let me ask you, what was it that caused the price hike? Because I feel like it would be more understandable if he just beat a major case or if something significant happened. And you know what I mean? Like sometimes we see rappers go through crazy things and everybody wants that breaking story. What was it that you think caused this to come about?
I don't know. I know Sean Cotton, me and Sean actually had a conversation about this yesterday. He had put out a video where he said that he had heard from someone that Boosie was upset because I had mentioned that I paid Tekashi more than I'd ever paid anyone else. And that might be the reason. I've never actually asked Boosie to confirm this. But if that is true, you guys have to understand, Tekashi brought in like 20 million views. It was the biggest interview of 2025. It was the biggest meme of 2025. The whole I stole that shit.
Stole that shit. That's what I do, nigga. Fuck, nigga, I stole that shit.
Yeah.
That's still being used. There's a Trump version.
Stole that shit. That's what I do, nigga. Fuck, nigga, I stole that shit. And I stole it. Like, bro, but niggas don't understand. I told facts.
There was all types of stuff. It was a huge interview. And for that particular interview, yes, I paid more than I've paid anyone else. But that was a one-off. The other Tekashi interviews were not, that same price, right? Because they didn't get those same type of views. I've paid Boosie way more than I paid Tekashi. Way more.
And not only that, it doesn't seem like Tekashi is that consistent versus Boosie is more of a recurring guest.
Yeah.
And I hope that Boosie, I don't wish, whatever direction he chooses to go, but I hope he realizes the power and the dynamic that you two have. Because both of you mesh very well, and it's the presentation entirely that makes it what it is.
Yeah, that's true. I think me and Boosie play off each other very well. So Boosie went on live. Like I said, I wasn't going to say any of this. This was just going to be a private conversation between me and Boosie. And if people ever ask, I'd be like, oh, well, me and Boosie just busy. And, at some point we might hook up or not. It is what it is. That's my man. But he decided to make a video. And in the video, he said, I'm going to do the interview myself. And I'm going to have my kids interview me. And I think I'll make more money this way. And I'm actually glad that Boosie is going that direction because he'll get to.
You know what's crazy? Boosie might fuck around, go do the interview, realize he probably ain't make 10,000 by himself. And when he come back to Vlad, Vlad might hit him with a real like, yo, bro, we could only do 20 now. Or we could only do 15. You're getting 15 now, nigga. You played? 15.
See for the first time how much money he's actually made. And, you know,
Right.
Boosie has his
How
own
much
channel.
work goes into it?
Yeah, he'll actually get a crash course on the other side of the business because Boosie's never been a YouTube guy. He's been, you know, a music guy. He's
Okay, all right. Now, Boosie did respond back. This is after DJ Envy covered the story on The Breakfast Club. And he had a few things to say. This is what he said in response to DJ Envy. Where is it? Oh, we got to touch on the Fat Boy SAC thing, too. Here we go.
He wants, but Vlad is going to do everything as numbers, right? And I know Boosie said he's going to start his own and he's going to, you know, do his own thing. The thing with that is Vlad already has the built-in subscribers, right? So it's going to, Boosie can get there. It's just going to take some time. And if he's willing to grind it out and take that time, that's cool. But I get what Vlad is saying. Everything is dollars and cents. And if it doesn't make sense, I'm not going to pay for it. I need a return on my investment.
Envy. Because, well, first, let's listen to Boosie, the original the audio that made Vlad even drop that response.
I ain't do Vlad no more.
Okay.
We couldn't come up with a agreement. He ain't want to pay me. I wanted 5,000 more than he wanted to pay me. I think I'm gonna make
doing it. Yes, Boosie will get there with it. I just gonna think it's gonna take some time. He could ask for what he wants, but Vlad is gonna do everything.
Okay. Now, the response from Boosie was this.
DJ Envy. I haven't seen the video. I can't find it, but they saying that you saying I'm asking for too much money because I don't have the numbers on the platforms. Well, if I'm getting 25K from Vlad and I'm on that motherfucker how many times a year? And now I ask for 35. I haven't been on there for seven months. How am I asking for too much money?
Yo, Boosie, I'm going to give you the best advice ever, nigga. All this hustler shit you talking about, I believe you. But what you need to do is you invest in real estate. I love the fact that you're building a whole community on your property. Just make your own podcast, bro. Like, if you think your interviews are that dynamic, that you're like even having a public conversation about you deserving $25,000 for an interview, if you do an interview for once a month for $25,000, do the math. That's $300,000 for the year. What about if you did a podcast maybe twice a month? You should have the confidence that you can make $1 million a year. The only way you're going to gain leverage, Boosie, and this is another way where Boosie loses. Boosie doesn't have anything else. There is no market. Now, there would be a market, but Boosie doesn't extend himself to do other podcasts. Boosie doesn't go on the circuit. Boosie doesn't open up and create value. I said this about the Stooges before, Rory and Mealy Mall, when they were trying to tell Joe Budden what they were worth, but they wouldn't do any content outside of Joe Budden. If your worth is established based on the platform that you're already on, how could you negotiate thinking you have leverage when the person that's negotiating with you, at the end of the day, they're going to think they're negotiating with themselves? You haven't gone out and create any value. If Boosie went out and Boosie did 3 episodes, this is what Boosie should do. Fuck doing an interview. Just do a podcast. Do 3 episodes. If you get a million views every episode, when Vlad calls you back, you tell me you want 40,000. When he says no, you go get a brand person to go get you a sales team that's gonna sell you 50,000 in terms of ads. You could do it, but complaining, that's not gonna be the thing. Boosie should have been launched his own podcast. How come so many people that got on the platform already got their own podcast? So again, I hate to say that I can't side with Boosie in any of this.
And on a year basis, I feel I saved him money. That's how I feel, and I told Vlad that. But for you,
see, Boosie, you got to be willing to do the hard work. You don't got to be thinking about busting it down with Vlad. If you think you're that nigga, which I do think you that nigga, go build it.
You to say that I'm asking for too much money, you're not looking at the yearly rate to what this yearly rate would be. And it don't matter if somebody richer than me. It don't matter if somebody got more numbers on their platform. Plenty of people that been on Vlad. A lot of times they still won't do the numbers Boosie do. Numbers and everything don't make you motherfucker. I'm Boosie, nigga. I'm different. You know? But just think about that. 25, 6, 7, 8 times a year.
Boosie, you think about this. You helped build a platform for like damn near 5 to 7 years. Consistently doing the best interviews, putting out the best content. You even got in trouble a lot of times for some of the stuff you said on the platform. And you still could be told at your performance review, no, you're not getting a raise. If that's not a true sign for a quote-unquote hustler to say, hey, listen, I'm going to keep doing Vlad, but I'm going to make sure I got my own platform too. If that's not the bell that's ringing, I don't know.
And it's been 7 months and I haven't done an interview and I asked for 35. That's why we feel we couldn't come to agreement. And also, why you think a lot of motherfuckers watch Vlad TV? Let's be honest, bro. Like, let's be fucking honest. Who turned you up on Vlad TV, my nigga? Who shit you watch over and over again? Like, you know, like our connection, like, bro, come on, bro. Come on, bro. When you talk about interviewing and you bring Bruce's name up, you bring Vlad TV name up. When you talk about Vlad interviewing somebody, you bring Boosie's name up. So Envy, I feel you wrong on that. I feel you wrong. You can call me the Breakfast Club. And
hey, see, this is another thing here too. I see Adam do it with Whack. Boosie, you should have your own tier in terms of memberships. Yo, if niggas want the Boosie pool party, the Boosie extras, they gotta pay a different tier membership to get it first and get exclusive shit. If you wanna, you do have an audience with Vlad. But let niggas pay for that, then you and Vlad split that money.
we can have it out. I will make you understand.
Okay. Anyway. It is what it is. All right.